Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the show. This episode is brought to you by The Wellness Paradigm, a holistic health coaching company shifting the way that women understand and heal their bodies. Through bioenergetic testing, functional lab testing, and functional nutrition, we uncover what traditional approaches often overlook, so you can stop guessing, start healing, and finally feel like yourself again. No more one-size-fits-all protocols, just real answers, deep-rooted healing, and the clarity and confidence you deserve to feel incredible. It's time to shift the paradigm of women's health. Now, onto our show. And good afternoon, or maybe morning, where you are at. I'm so glad that you are taking the time to be here with us. Today we have a special guest. I guess I don't even know. Do we call you Jackie? Jacqueline? I'm like, I should have
Yeah,
probably asked you before
you call me Jack. That's my nickname.
Oh.
And you've known me long enough to call me Jack, so
I know, which is funny because I've never called you that. Like,
I
ever, but I
know.
love
You
it.
can call me Jack. Yeah, yeah. Some people call me Jacqueline. Obviously, that's my name,
Yeah,
but I don't really have another nickname other than Jack, so you can call me that.
I like Jack's like the cool, like
Thank
all right
you.
now.
I'll take it.
But she's a writer and a director and is also on the executive board of the Real Champions, which is a supportive and uplifting community within the entertainment industry dedicated to helping women and non-binary filmmakers. And I feel like she has a really unique point of view on mental health and just what it's like to perform under some high pressure jobs. And I'm really excited for you to be here and share your knowledge with us.
Thank you. Honestly, I feel very fortunate. I've been given some really good opportunities and kind of there's this one guy in the industry and he is related to the grant I just got to make my last film, and he keeps calling me Charlie, and he's like, you won the winning lottery ticket. And he is kind of right. So I promised myself if I had these opportunities that I would help other people, maybe glean something from my experience so that when they do it, they will also feel like they kind of could get something out of the process too. So that's
Yeah.
why I am very happy to be here.
Yeah, I love that. It's always nice when people, especially when they see success, they want to share it and not, we talked a little like gatekeep it, right?
Hmm.
Pretty
Yes.
common in many industries, but particularly the entertainment industry, I feel. But I'm curious, like, what got you into kind of writing and directing and doing what you do now?
Yeah. So as a kid, I was a child actress. Actually, that's how I met Shannon.
Yeah.
We were in community theater when we were
Most people have
younger.
no idea that I was in musical theater for that was a big part of my life. I was on like 22 shows, but
Yeah, it was really great, and I loved being an actress. I'm still an actress right now. But I found the roles as I progressed. I found the roles that I was being offered were not artistically fulfilling to me. And even as a kid, I had always been very creative and written stories on my own. I just didn't feel there was an avenue to pursue sharing that, and it never felt like there was ever a chance that that could be a livelihood. It just wasn't modeled around me. There weren't a lot of women directors either, and women producers, but I just didn't see it. And so, yeah, it wasn't until later in my life that I just pitched myself cold for a job, and I told them was a director and I had already done little things for fun with friends, and the I was very confident because I knew what I wanted to do, and the person just gave me the job, and I know that doesn't happen ever. And there was no pay. Like, let's be super clear, there was no pay. The pay went toward the equipment. I mean, there was pay, but it just went straight to that. And I paid my actors. I always tried to pay my actors, and so I was doing it pro bono. I was doing it for free, but I loved it. And all the actors said, "Oh, you do this for a living?" And I realized I was so in love with what I was doing that it just came across like, yeah, it was kind of like sorry, let me turn the sound of my thing off. It almost came across like osmosis.
Mhm.
And then after that, I enrolled in a little short program. And oh, sorry, Shannon, I can't figure out how to turn the sound off. It's so loud.
I don't hear it.
Oh, great. Perfect. It's like keeps dinging. But yeah, I just felt it was something that I needed to do. And I went to a short program and then I ended up going to USC and I just got my master's but it was very much a second career. I had a failed acting career that turned into this.
Hey, sometimes they're not failures, they're just stepping stones to what you need to be doing, right?
That's the thing. Yeah. And yeah, whole nother conversation, but yeah.
Right. And now, like, being in this industry for a while, what are some of the things that you typically see, especially feel like this industry is known for kind of long hours and high pressure and maybe constant rejection, like
Mhm.
what are some things that you've kind of seen and helped navigate yourself and other people through?
Yeah. It is full of that. Um, and they say that and they say it for a reason. Honestly, it's really important there's always going to be so many different avenues of advice out there, and I've read it all. I think for me, it was just a matter of like trial and error. Um, so I've made 17 short films. And I just made an 18th, but that was more like a fun thing that we just felt we had to do. And every time, like, it's been different because your crew's always going to be different, your team's always going to be different. And I think the first thing would be like really make sure you have someone on your team that you feel close enough to that you can share things when, you know, even you can ask them in advance. It's same with any job, having someone when the pressure applies, because set is very stress inducing, and it's the whole phrase time is money, and you never feel like you have enough time.
Mhm.
And you have to think on your feet, and you're also balancing like making sure everybody is cared for and making sure you're on budget, and there's also like a creative vision that you have to think about while you're balancing all these things. And you're told, oh, well, there's other people who handle those jobs. Yeah, there are. But in order to be a good teammate, you kind of have to like anticipate what their needs would be a little bit too. So having someone to go to that you have already maybe like shared your potential concerns of what could go wrong or what you need in order to do your job well is so important. I always have one person on the set that usually is a friend of mine that I've worked with before. And it's just so nice to um, have that support, and it's mutual. You got to support them too, of course. But having that person like as a springboard is just very valuable. And then on top of that, I also I go to set with this like nose ring that has infused essential oils like
Oh,
of lavender. And oftentimes people, when they're talking to me, will go like, "Oh, you have something right there." And I'm like, yeah, it's actually like a rubber band. And they're like, oh, sorry. So I don't know if I need to switch it up or make it more obvious. But yeah, that's been so calming because it goes directly to your I don't know, not bloodstream, but it directly like infuses into your body because it's right
yeah,
there.
yeah.
That's been a lifesaver. I've done that for the past couple of shoots, and it just kind of reminds me to stay grounded.
Yeah, that's a big one. Actually, literally earlier today, I was recording an episode with somebody about aromatherapy for people and pets, which was fun combo. But we were talking about lavender. I mean, it's literally just so
Yeah.
powerful for grounding and for anxiety. And it's not like I feel like that is a common thing, right? It's like go, go, go. Make sure you're doing everything right. Don't mess up. It's like that over time, that stress or like really tends to get to you. So
Yeah.
sometimes like essential, like an essential oil,
Yeah.
even if you don't want to wear a nose ring, just bringing. I used to have a lavender balm that I would just like, like sniff. It's like,
It's so great. And also, yeah, just like knowing to take that time, it kind of reminds you have to take that time when you're smelling that or you're like surrounded by like a peaceful environment. But you can just take 30 seconds to close your eyes, put on headphones or AirPods and like listen to some Zen music. I listen on Spotify to something called Dreamy Zen Garden.
I love it.
That's the channel, the playlist, and it's so calming. And so I'll listen to it for 30 seconds when they're setting up a new shot. Um, sometimes even before they set up a new shot, I'll just ask for a second, or I'll pretend to go get a cup of coffee. There's nothing wrong with going to do something and not telling everyone all the information of what you're doing. I think it
Yeah.
applies to any career, but specifically to directing as well. If whoever's listening to this wants to do that job, it's very high stress because you're getting asked like 50 questions in an hour, maybe more. And oftentimes it's the same question you're being asked over and over again to the people who are already standing listening to the answer. And at that point, you can kind of start to think like, does nobody listen to me?
Yeah.
Does nobody like why? Why is nobody listening to me? Am I doing something wrong that's making, but that's just the nature of like human nature. And so in those moments when I'm starting to wonder why, like, yeah, why I have had to repeat the same answer like 50 times, at that point, I say, oh, I need to go get a coffee. I don't always need to go get a coffee, but sometimes I just need to walk away. And I do go and get one because I don't want to be rude and I want it to be clear that that's really what I'm doing.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, like even just saying I have to go to craft services or, oh, I need to take a call. It's okay. Like those are not things that are going to hurt someone. That's like, it might be perceived as a white lie, but really what it is like, I need to take a moment right now. And when you say things like that, because I've in the past said like, I need to take a moment, it can scare people and it can make them think that they're doing something wrong and you don't want that. So I think creative ways to like protect other people's feelings while also, making sure you get what you need is the way to get through the job in a way that like everybody goes home and is so proud of what they made.
Yeah. What would you say are maybe some emotional blocks that you see people kind of dealing with behind the scenes?
Um, I mean, imposter syndrome is hard. I I've only had like a little bit of it, which is like not to say anything about me, but I started to get it recently because I didn't understand it really. Because I really feel like everybody is running their own race. Like I've always been so happy when other people succeed. And I try to surround myself with people who are happy for me too, because I appreciate that they understand that we're not in competition. We're only in competition against ourselves. So I never understood the imposter syndrome because yeah, you want to, if you're giving 100% of yourself to something, then you deserve it because you're giving so much of yourself to it. But recently I've started to realize, oh, that's a thing because you can fool yourself into thinking like that maybe you're not good enough even if you're giving your 100%. So I'm starting to understand that. And the best way to overcome that is just taking a deep breath and really like throwing yourself into a project you care about. And you need feedback, but also the most important feedback comes from yourself. It really the whole thing, the biggest emotional roadblock of this career is, yeah, trusting yourself and not giving up on yourself if you get a negative script score or you don't get into something. That's one person's opinion, and you're ever evolving. So that's a huge one. Imposter syndrome, being difficult, being hard on yourself. Um, I mean, it's tricky to know who to partner with sometimes when it comes to a very big project, and to know when to step away and let someone else be like the parent of the project, or when to try to stay involved, especially for emerging filmmakers when you're getting started.
Yeah.
There is a element of having to uh, pay to play. And that often means if you're very creative, like I know a lot of people this has happened to, and sometimes I get scared it could happen to me. Is um, yeah, you have a great idea, and then someone else wants it, but they don't want you to stay involved. And um, there's really, when you're starting out, you can either say no and then maybe it doesn't ever get made, or say yes and then realize that it's not yours anymore, and that's okay.
Mm.
Those are probably the biggest ones because it feels like, as a filmmaker and as a writer director, they feel like they're your children. And I've made so many personal and financial sacrifices in order to be able to do this, and I continue to make those. So it does feel like it is like a life force that is kind of draining you, but in a way that you want it to. Like, it gives back to you. It feels like a child. So to then hand the baby over to someone else and hope that they'll care about it as much as you, how could they care about it as much as you if they have 25 other films on their slate?
Well, nobody's gonna care about things just quite as much as you anyways, you know.
I know. But sometimes that's the interesting thing I'm learning about this career, like the mental health aspect of it is, it's like a relationship, and there always will be another relationship.
Mhm.
Uh, if you stifle this one and you're sure you're the only one who can love it, it might not grow to what it's supposed to be. And so sometimes you have to let it go and put it into the hands of someone who can take it to the next level. And I think that's what's been really hard sometimes is knowing that I'm not at the place to get it to where it needs to be. Hopefully there's some unicorn out there that wants to take a risk on me, and there have been some, and I'm so grateful. But yeah, the reminder that you have to really continue to pay your dues for a very long time has been like very sobering and very difficult. Because the student debt doesn't go away, but you also, like, yeah, it's hard to balance everything, I think, and then balance having a personal life while the job is just so, it's very demanding. A lot of 18-hour days.
Mm. Like, what do you do to keep yourself sane during these long hours?
I mean, honestly, I really have a lot of comfort foods. It's funny, like I probably should hit you up when I go into production again because, well, pre-production, like the month before, 2 months before, I just am back to back on calls, but I always try to schedule 15 minutes for me to run to the Starbucks to pick up a mobile order. And like that drink gives me so much satisfaction. I'm just like, oh, like it's just so I usually gain a little bit of weight that month and a half, like a lot of weight. And then production, I'm so running around that I just lose it all. But it's funny, like I don't look like the same person. It's like a before and after. I'm not on Ozempic, but it like looks like I am in the pictures. Yeah, because I think that that's it, is like in healthy foods too, just in general, like a warm meal, like that brings me a lot of peace in those long days, and it makes a huge difference because then you're waking. And I also really love what I do. Like, I love it. So it doesn't feel, I know it sounds crazy, but it really doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel like work. Yeah. And it's just hard when you have to miss a lot of weddings. And
Mm.
I've probably missed maybe like maybe 10 weddings in the past 3 years. Just because I couldn't go. I had to be on set, or was in a fellowship, or was at a film festival. And people forgive you or they don't.
Mm.
A lot of people have not forgiven me still for missing their weddings. And it's hard. I mean, but it's kind of what the job demands.
Yeah, there are sacrifices, in any career, and it's tough. That's really tough, because you won't get that wedding, hopefully, back. That you won't have another one. But at the same time, you're doing the best you can with what you can do,
I think that's actually been the hardest part, is like,
Yeah.
yeah, because I really believe I have a very full social life,
Mm.
and I really believe in being there for other people. In fact, before I was a filmmaker, I was there for people maybe more so than most people I know, and that became the expectation. And I just, there was no way to pursue to what's the word for it? Geez. Continue to do that. Sustain that.
Yeah.
Um, while working 18-hour days. And so I've, luckily I'm very grateful. I have a lot of understanding people in my life, but you have to realize that in any career where you're going to give so much of yourself and it's going to ask you to give your team is going to give so much of themselves. To me, a good leader, the least I could do is do the same for them. So I have a lot of friends in the industry who say, like, well, you're the director. You can say no, or you don't have to go to that meeting, or you don't have to, or you can set the time. And I tell them, well, these people have children and these people have all these other things, and they're doing this project for me or helping me out for half the price that they usually do because they believe in me in this film. I don't get to call the shots. I have to do it when it works for them. So I really do kind of lead that way. Um, and luckily, a lot of people I get to work with over and over again, I think they respect that. And yeah, so it's been an interesting trade-off. And I think from a mental health perspective, the most important thing is to make sure the people who are in your life know that you care and that it's not a reflection of your relationship with them. It's just the passion you have for what you're doing.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. I'm curious, like, what do you feel like the industry kind of gets wrong with addressing more just mental health and just
Mhm.
mentally healthy and like creatively fulfilled?
Pass. No, just kidding. It's hard. It's hard for me to answer that because sometimes it's an interesting thing because I think first of all, it would be great to have more, I don't know, like highlight on therapy. There's nothing wrong with therapy, and it's a really beautiful thing to, uh, have someone you talk to about these things and even have someone present on set. I know that there's intimacy coordinators are on set now. I wish the next step would be like mental health coordinator, someone just there, maybe even once a week. I floated this by actually for a film that I just made a couple years ago. I floated. Well, it was a film about sexual assault that I
Mm.
directed, and I floated it by that like there should be someone on set for the actress to talk to, and for me to talk to, and anyone else who wanted to talk to them. And someone mentioned like, oh, then the crew would just take advantage of it, and they'd be like, oh, I need to talk to the person for an hour. I can't do my job. And I would like to think it's an honor system where that wouldn't happen, but it would be nice to have someone available. I think that mental health aspect on set, since it's already so stressful, as long as it didn't get abused, um, there had to be a way to make sure that it's not just someone who wants to take an hour or 2 hour break.
Yeah.
But if that's the case, then I think it would be great. Maybe they sign up for it in advance if they're worried that they might be triggered by something. And then the therapist checks in with them and sees how they're doing day of. I think something like that would be nice. But yeah, when I get there, I'll let you know, Shannon. Not there yet. Just trying to struggle by with independent budgets. But if I have a real budget and I can afford to have someone there, I would love to.
Well, I think that's important though too, because I mean, even though you're a quotation smaller, you have ripple effects. And, those ripple effects really go so much higher than I feel like sometimes we realize, and especially at the with mental health in this industry, I feel like it's more talked about now too. And man, I really wish that everybody had access to some sort of help in any career, no
Yeah.
matter what.
Even if there was like a student university where they needed to get their hours and they could go to a film set and get their hours by, I mean, they sure would have a lot of people who have things that they need to talk about.
that's actually a good idea.
Yeah.
Interesting. Now, if you could give kind of one message to maybe an emerging writer or director or just somebody kind of under this, high stress emerging field wanting to keep bettering themselves, like what would you kind of give them as some words of advice?
Just keep doing you. Don't look sideways and just write what's like authentic to you as your voice. I was telling you Briefly, I don't know, maybe briefly, but I'm starting a company called Insider's Guide about being true to your authentic voice as a filmmaker, but it's really about any different career. But this one is specifically for directors because you just kind of get lost in the fold. And I think it's very, very important to remember why you started this and what your unique individual contribution is. No two people are exactly the same. So what do you bring to what you make? And I think if you continue to do that, and they call it branding, which I think is such like a marketing word. I don't think that's what it is. It's like more your voice, like what's your voice? And I think just continue to live your life. The things that happened to you that you thought were the things that happened to you while you were busy thinking what you were supposed to do, that's what your films are going to end up being about, or your TV shows. Um, yeah, it's always, from my experience, it's always based on something in your life that was unexpected. And then you say, oh, I think that that's important. I think I should write on that. Or you just make a joke to a friend and they go, oh, that's a show I would watch. It's like, me too, even though it's your life.
Yeah, those tend to be the most relatable ones, you know?
Yes, exactly, exactly. Just be, I know it sounds trite, but just be you.
Yeah. I mean, that's authenticity at its finest, and that's what's going to carry you through too, especially through long days, well, long hours and all that fun.
Yeah, and it is fun. Like it is really enjoyable, and you meet amazing people that you would have never met, and it is really fun. It's work, but it's again, it doesn't really feel like work. I look at pictures from set, and everyone's always smiling, so that's
Mhm.
what you want.
For sure. Well, I'm sure a lot of that's dictated by you and how you handle things and your vibe, you know?
Who
Um,
knows, man? Who knows? It's also like a complete I don't know. It's like I black out and then I'm like, wow, that was a whole month. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know. But it is really nice when you hear that people enjoy themselves or they're inspired. And yeah, I mean, that's the point of everything to me is like you want to inspire other people to then do what they were meant to do.
for sure. For sure. Well, if people wanted to learn more about kind of what you do at the Insider's Guide, maybe what you're on the board of, like how could they find you or get in contact with you?
Yeah. Let's see. So for Real Champions, which I'm very grateful, exists, which is kind of a executive pipeline for other women and non-binary producers, actually, and executives. I do produce as well. So that group is incredible. You should check it out. You can actually just Google the Real Champions. Real is REEL, and you'll see all the information there. We have a mentorship group. We actually just started the next cycle, so you could apply for the following year. But we have a lot of free events that we hold. It's an incredible group and panels. That would be, you could even find it on my LinkedIn. It's the first thing listed there. Insider's Guide, we're going to be releasing some information on my LinkedIn as well, where you can sign up. We're going to be doing another cycle this summer. And you can read some testimonials from previous students. And that's my favorite thing I do. It's incredibly affordable. And I share all my favorite documents from USC. So from the best teachers, and it's much more interactive than something like a masterclass. Like you can actually tailor it to you, which is the whole purpose of it. So that you'll find on my LinkedIn as well. I have a film coming out soon. It's called Europa. I got to make it at Sony Pictures, which was cool. We had a 31-day shoot on their stage there. And that's virtual production. So it's an LED wall and the camera kind of tracks to the it's called Unreal Engine. It's like a video game engine. And so instead of using green screen, you actually film the background on real time with the actors in front. So that was really amazing. And that's coming out. They're actually talking about it at Cannes tomorrow, with the Cannes Next Innovation Village. my DP just flew over and he's going to be presenting something on it. But yeah, that we don't know when that one's going to be out. We're going to start submitting to festivals in a couple weeks.
How exciting. So many fun things on your plate, and congrats on all your success and the success you will continue to have.
Thanks, Jen.
But
You too.
I really appreciate you coming on and really sharing just a lot of the, not so quite so talked about things about the fun things that can happen in the entertainment and just life under busy professions too. So thank
Hmm.
you for spending the time with me. Thank you, listeners. If you're listening to this, would love to know if you guys gathered something from this, especially with a little more like niche like this. It would be really fun if, somebody listening is like, wait a minute, this really applies to me. Go reach out to Jack, and I'm
Yeah,
sure she'd
reach
love
out
to
to
hear
me.
from you. But other than that, thank you guys for listening. We will catch you on the next show, and thank you for being here, Jack.
Thank you.